Hello everybody and welcome back to the EMJ PJ podcast. As you can see, these settings are a little bit different to what you're probably accustomed to. I am in the car. I am about to drive home from my co-host Ben Hartshorn's house. We have just watched Rory McIlroy pick up his second Masters victory, his second green jacket, becoming one of only 4 players to win back-to-back Masters tournaments. He continues to cement his legacy in the game of golf, which we all love. And due to clashing commitments tomorrow, maybe we can squeeze something in tomorrow and get Ben's reaction to this. We were debating doing a live reaction. We didn't really know how exciting it was going to be. Obviously, as golf fans, it was massively exciting, but it's sometimes hard to do a reaction video when obviously we can't stream what's happening at the same time. You know, it's difficult when it comes to golf. So tomorrow night there are various little things that stop us from maybe getting the podcast to you on Tuesday morning. We hopefully, fingers crossed, will be able to do that, but I'm sure that everybody is thirsty for reaction and chat off the back of what we've just seen there. So what we are going to do is I'm actually going to turn the light off as I'm driving, because that's illegal, and obviously I'm not moving my car, so you can see all the road authority people, which hopefully will be watching this video, or maybe hopefully won't be, can see that I am not filming or editing this or doing anything whilst I'm driving. I've started my journey back home, and I will continue my journey back home speaking normally as if I'm on the phone or something. Okay, so I'm going to turn the lights off and we are going to talk about Rory McIlroy's Masters victory. For those of you watching on YouTube, this is probably not a video that is built for you, or a podcast that is built for you, because you might just be able to see my silhouette, but apart from that, you are going to struggle. Rory McIlroy, let's talk about golf. Let's not talk about my driving. Let's talk about Rory McIlroy's driving. Infamously bad, infamously poor driving performance, especially in the first 2 days. I feel like he actually got better as we went on, did McIlroy. But it was the first 2 days that won him the golf tournament, getting off to that six-shot lead. I'm actually going to give credit to my mate Toby, who obviously, again, Toby, if you're listening to this, like, Toby likes a bit of golf, but he phrased it really, really well to me this morning when we were just having a little bit of a chat about this evening's golf. Put my windows down to clear it out of the way. He framed it to me really, really well. He just sort of said that's kind of why you get off to that hot start, is so you can afford a bit of a mediocre weekend or a mediocre round or two. And I think that was absolutely perfect. I mean, whilst everybody else had to be just constantly playing the rounds of their lives, getting on heaters left, right and centre. We saw Cam Young get on heater. We saw Scotty Scheffler with a late heater. We saw Justin Rose getting on intermittent heaters. Those guys were all pedaling super fast, but Rory had done his pedaling on Thursday and Friday with an absolutely unbelievable short game performance. And that's really what dragged him over the line. There were a couple of massive turning points that we've just witnessed there on Sunday. I'm going to do my best to recollect all of them and kind of gather them up. Obviously, the double bogey on 4 is absolutely massive, and it's one where from that moment on, he did go on to make a bogey on 6 as well as the double bogey on 4. However, from that point, okay, we'll give him 18. From that point, he was bogey free, and he made 4 birdies coming in to stretch away from competition. I thought the areas of his game that were outstanding today, I mean, again, outstanding's a little bit of a different word. I mean, you look at his round of golf, he shot 71. It's maybe not the most outstanding sort of knock that you've ever seen, but I thought that under pressure, course management, couple of clutch putts, in particular on 11, I thought that was really, really good. I thought his course management was really, really good. I mean, even just using 11 as a little bit of a snapshot on Saturday, he pulls one, he overdraws one into the water left on 11. Today, he sort of was a lot further down the fairway in a lot stronger of a position, and he found the front right portion of the green, made a really, really solid par putt there on 11. Unbelievable shot on 12. Unbelievable shot on 12. I mean, the wind was up. The wind, as we know, notoriously swirling round that short 12th hole. It would have been just maybe a pitching wedge, looked like a knockdown 9-iron maybe for Rory. Probably a knockdown pitching wedge, knowing his length and maybe the temperature. The ball going a couple of extra yards. But he sticks that one to 8 foot, drains 8, 10, 12 foot, however long it was, but he drains it down the hill left to right. Absolutely fantastic moment. And then not being too greedy on 13 and then again on 15. I thought he really cruised his way to victory, and then even down the stretch just to get him over the line, the up and down or the putt from off the green on 16 was absolutely outstanding. I thought Rory was excellent and thoroughly deserving of his second green jacket. As I just mentioned, he becomes the 4th person to win back-to-back Masters victories alongside Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo and Tiger Woods. The guy keeps on putting up records, and I was saying this to Ben just a minute ago. Like, Scottie Scheffler's been on such a good run the last 3, 4, 5 years now. In particular, the last 4 years, and he's managed to amass records and put himself in conversations that, in my opinion, not that he obviously deserves to be in them, but like, he's done that in such a short space of time. We haven't really had chance to go, oh my goodness, Scottie Scheffler's one of the greatest to ever play. With Rory, we've obviously had that time, and every single time Scheffler's done something, I've kind of gone in the back of my mind, Rory can do that. I know Rory can do that, and it was just a case of getting over the line, clearly, last year in the Masters tournament. Getting over the line, obviously that was the missing piece of the Grand Slam. He's got over the line. That burden he's carried a lot lighter on his shoulders. And it's just resulted in fantastic golf. The sky's the limit. I don't think this is going to be the last time you see him win one of these. I think he's got 10 more years of elite level golf. That's the scary thing. What is he? He's 36. I think Rory McIlroy, I believe 36. I want to say, or 35. Don't know actually. I need to check Rory McIlroy's age. It's a bit embarrassing, but I think he's 36. And yeah, he is. I think he's got. You look at Justin Rose, for example. He's clearly in good condition. He is clearly on top of his game. He's sort of. He's been outspoken as to saying he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be playing into a phase of his life where he doesn't feel like he can compete at the top level. I feel like we've got 10 more years of Rory McIlroy at the top level. And I genuinely wouldn't be shocked to see him pick up at least one more of these. You know, every single year we go to Augusta, the course sets up for him fantastically. He said in his press conferences this week that he's been back playing Augusta quite a lot. That's another privilege you get. Obviously at the elite level, you can, and when you've got such status in the game, you can kind of take weeks off from the PGA Tour schedule and get yourself ready for big events. And that's what he's done, and it gives him that little bit of a head start when push comes to shove down the stretch on Sunday in these majors. Absolutely fantastic. Rory McIlroy, can't speak highly enough of him. Obviously, this is going to be a bit of a quick reaction, so I'm going to motor through other contenders. Obviously, disappointed to see Justin Rose fizzle out. He was at 12 under par and leading by, I don't think he led by 2. He might have done. Sorry if he was. I don't think he led by 2. I think he led by 1. If he led by 2, he quickly dropped back to 1 because he made the bogey on 11. Excuse me. Disappointed to see him fizzle out. He's obviously played those last 8 holes in 2 over par. It would have been fantastic to see him get over the line. I can't even lie. I was picturing Rory putting the jacket on Justin Rose for a good half an hour in the middle of Sunday's round there. It was disappointing to see him not get over the line. We will take a deep dive into why he couldn't do so this week, when I and Ben hopefully will be able to deep dive into it. For me, the 3-putt on 13 just springs to mind. Obviously the error on 11, the 3-putt on 13, and then the nail in the coffin on 17 for him, unfortunately, was the end for Justin. Not taking his chance on 15. No, he took his chance on 15, excuse me, but 16, you'd like to think it was gettable. A lot of people were airbailing that as we came down the stretch. Maybe a bit of adrenaline in the veins. I saw a couple of people obviously hitting right to left shaped shots into 16. If you're going to do that, obviously the firm greens, they're going to roll out a little bit more just off the fact that you're turning it in from right to left. But then Again, that lack of spin might mean a little bit more carry distance. Yeah, I mean, those are possible reasons why we saw a couple of people airmail it on 16 and go a little bit longer than they probably would have wanted to. Cameron Young looked in position, especially in the front nine, but he holed a really, really good par putt on 5 to maintain a 2-shot lead ahead of McIlroy, and then just did not find anything after that. He hit a couple of really, really poor shots. As I said, the putter wasn't quite there. He notoriously gets his caddy to read all his putts. Again, it's difficult. The caddy might be feeling the pressure in that moment if you put too much weight on his shoulders as well. I know he hasn't got a club in his hand, but you know, that little bit more pressure on making the right reads, maybe not going through the process exactly the same way as you would do at the start of the round or earlier on in the week. Little things like that maybe add up, and that results in Cameron Young not making the charge that we expected him to. And then finally, Scotty Scheffler. I mean, what can we say about Scotty Scheffler? I believe he's finished solo second there again. Absolutely incredible, his record at Augusta National. He hasn't been in the best form of late recently, but it just shows when you get on a course that you know you can have success at, you know where the potential pitfalls are. You know, I was saying to Ben about his hand-eye coordination. Obviously, yes, you have to be at elite level. You have to have elite level hand-eye coordination to be a golfer to Scotty Scheffler's standards, but when he mishits one, he knows exactly the release pattern to match it up and make sure the miss isn't catastrophic. And you know, that obviously corresponds to the areas on the golf course where you can't go. And you think, incidentally, on 12, he pulled it off the face on 12, and his little saves with his elbows and little faster releases and slower releases to open and close the club face through impact. You know, birdie out the trees on 15 when he left it in there. You know, just absolutely ridiculous golf from Scotty Scheffler. Birdie on 16 and massive moment on 17. Massive moment on 17 where that putt doesn't drop. If that putt drops, I firmly believe we'd still be there watching him and McIlroy in some sort of playoff, or maybe even Scotty has the green jacket, because we saw how McIlroy fared coming up the last hole. If he was stood on 12 under coming up the last, Rory McIlroy, a couple of shots not as well off as he was, it would have been difficult not to see Scotty Scheffler pick up the green jacket there. So very, very impressive performance from Scotty Scheffler once again. Obviously there are other names that were in the mix, but some interesting high scores, as Ben was quick to point out, as McIlroy picked up the victory. We'll be keen to get his thoughts in the week, and I will definitely be relaying those to you. But yeah, as Ben was quick to point out, you know, apart from Scheffler, nobody really wanted it, and I think that was a lot down to the conditions, a lot down to the firmness of how Augusta was set up this year. Nick Faldo said on his Instagram that if they wanted to see the winning score at single digits, it was very close to it. Obviously, through 2 days, you're thinking, wow, we're going to be nowhere near here. And then those brown greens kept on getting browner and browner. I'm being a bit facetious calling them brown greens, but there wasn't much going on with them. You know, there wasn't much moisture in them. People were more shots airmailed into 15 this year than I've ever seen. Do we like Masters like that? I personally do, because it means that leaders can't really run away with it and make it a bit of a bore fest. We didn't know that McIlroy was going to pick up the green jacket there until he nipped it over the bunker on 18. You know, that's down to the course conditions, that's down to the volatile nature of the golf course. I think Augusta should be set up that way every single year. Risk and reward to the max, firm greens, chances, but also caution off the back of those chances. You know, and if I'd have known it was that firm coming in, I wouldn't have put my prediction as so far under par. And speaking of predictions, that's probably a good time to end the podcast, because my predictions have been fucking shite of late, and excuse the language on that, but I am actually furious with my predictions. I've had an awful week predicting stuff. I thought McIlroy was going to get over the line going into today, and I was too scared to post it on social media because I've been that bad that I don't even trust myself anymore. But anyway, enough about me. Tonight's Rory McIlroy's night. Fantastic night and fantastic week for the podcast. Thank you all so much for those of you who have tuned in and been a part of Masters coverage this week. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys. Guys, what did you think about this year's Masters? Obviously it's going to be very, very hard to match the year prior, but what did you think of this year's? Did it live up to expectation? Did you enjoy it? Are we gutted not to see Justin Rose pick up the green jacket? Do you like Rory McIlroy? Did you wish that someone else like Cameron Young picked up the win there? let us know. Leave it in the comments, please. Leave a review for us on the podcast. There we go, coming into a nice town here where we're a bit more lit up and you can see me. Yeah, let us know what you thought of that Masters tournament, because I thought it was a really, really good 7-8 out of 10 Masters tournament. And the best thing about this is quickly, we've got to make sure that we relish these. Quickly, we'll be running out of majors to talk about. So I love the fact that we've got one major out the way and we are heading into 3 more over the course of the summer months. I am so keen for it. Okay then, guys, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on for, 15 minutes or so. Thank you very much. I know it's a quick podcast. We will get the second podcast of the week to you as quick as possible. There's a bit going on tomorrow night for me and Ben. And as I said, I would have got Ben's initial reaction, but he's been at the Grand National this week and he is shattered. And I feel bad for making him stay up an extra few minutes and talk about the golf. So you've just got me, you've just had me there tonight. Fantastic Masters win, and we will be back with you later on in the week. As I said, get your Masters reaction in. We will react to all of your comments that you send in, what you thought of it, who you thought overperformed, who you thought underperformed, heater of the week, flop of the week to come. And the good golf keeps on coming. We've got the Heritage coming up this weekend, which is absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite events of the year. So looking forward to that. Okay then, guys, we will catch you next time. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you later on in the week.